Long revenge on my MIL, mother-in-law. Long-time lurker, and decided to share my revenge story, which has not concluded. If there are mistakes, please understand that English is not my native language, thus I apologize up front. Also, this will be somewhat long, so buckle up for the ride. Some background. My wife has 2 sisters. Her father passed, and he was a very intelligent and kind person that I look up to, years after his passing. Mill is still alive and doing horribly. Mill has always been a difficult person, maybe straight-up bitch would more appropriate. Used to cheat on her husband, even taking my wife, then 4 or 5 years old, with her to meet and fuck other guys. They were from a small town and moved to a bigger city when the problem got too much to handle for my father-in-law. He had an old-school mentality and didn't want to leave his wife, even though he knew about her many affairs, because he took on the responsibility of 3 daughters. Everything he did was only for his daughters, and MIL became also a hidden alcoholic in time. Hiding beers and wine through the house, or finding a pretext to go out to her car where she could drink more. She fought endlessly with my wife, who was older, now 33. Threw her out of the house, made her sleep on benches in the car later on. Screaming, hair-pulling, and just being a complete bitch without reason. X. My wife worked 2 jobs to cover her university expenses, and every night after getting back from school, work at 2 to 3 a.m., Mill would come waltzing at Dodo 70 in the room and open the curtains, wake her up, and just start fighting. Mendel never agreed to the university my wife went to, but nevertheless, she bragged in her hometown as if she was the one paying and motivating my wife to study. I could go on with more examples. Driving completely drunk with the little sister, 6 to 7 years old back then, 2006-2007, in her car, reminding me and my then GF, now wife, that she gave us 10 euros to charge our phone credits as if the world depended on it. Needless to say, we paid every single cent plus interest back, even if she didn't ask for it. This is where we start. My wife's family moved to another country in 2002. Mael could not stand me from the get-go. Spoke to my mother about breaking us up. I was 16, my wife 17 when we met, 2001. She was always against us, even as we moved in together for the first time, and this was not a teenager flick anymore. Would start fights with me about my family and the work I do. I started in construction when I moved out of the country to be with my then GF. Years go by and we move from this city, where Emile and the rest of the family reside. Not far, about 150 miles, but to better jobs and a nicer place. This is 2007 already. 3 years pass by, and during these years, I slowly planted the idea that her middle sister could also move here with us. We could search a job for her and ask her to pay only a part of the rent after she works for 2 months. 2010 comes, and the middle sister is not happy. She is the one fighting now with her mother. So of course, she wants out. So again, I bring it up with my wife and insist that we can't let her mother ruin everything. Both agree, and the middle sister moves in. We find a job, and she liked the place, the pay, even falls in love with her now husband. She is really happy and laughing all the time. Needless to say that my Mael is destroyed. Now the only sister remaining is the little one, born when Mael was in 40. But she is too little for Mael to start harassing and fighting with her. So she becomes remorseful, starts calling and saying that she loves her daughters, and now she will die alone. She even stopped drinking for a short while, but old die habits die very hard. In this case, it is still very much alive. And I thought turning 10. I find another job in another country. Yes, this is in Europe. So we move again, leaving the middle sister behind with her own place and a new life. With all the love Mill spreads around, the little sister does poorly in school, is name-called in her school, and genuinely unhappy. My wife starts doing homework with her via Skype, until the situation is unbearable. So again, I just hint that we could take a bigger apartment and get the little sister her with us. She could learn another language, and we could help her achieve her potential. I asked the little sister what she thought about this idea, and she is thrilled. But I repeated myself that this only an idea, to get her head thinking already in March. By July, when school is over, she wants to desperately come to us and live with us, and we follow through. September 2012, and she starts the school here. Difficult because of the language barrier, but she is tough and intelligent. All the sisters are like that. We start from scratch. Keep in mind, she is 12 now, but can't tell quickly how much 6 plus 9 is without counting. We spend nights and days learning. I teach her the language, and my wife math, geography, and so on. I was the only one working, and my wife pregnant with our first daughter. We pull through all of this, and Moyle is just lonely. Nobody wants her in their home. She comes visiting, but if they see that she drank beforehand, she's sent away. Again, she started to spread the "I love you" without hearing any reply, just silence, or an "okay, mom." Now she doesn't have anybody. She even tried living with another guy, but as soon as the mask fell off and he recognized who and how she was, they ended. She is still spreading lies about him, thinking that we all lived in a cave without knowing how she really is. Sometimes she calls and cries that nobody calls her, not her daughters, nor her older sister. I laugh about it. I am happy. I worked so hard to get this result, and I can't wait for her to be sick and wither away. I can't put it words how alone she is and how miserable she feels. I know it will remain like this until she dies. I will make sure of it. My watch never ends. I don't like it. Story number 2. Story about Sweetie Revenge. My sweet revenge. Non-fiction. I was married for almost 19 years to a not-so-nice guy. Let's call him Silas. Now, Silas had gone to high school with a girl that was, so in love with him. We shall call her Valerie. It never seemed like Valerie was able to get over that Silas did not marry her. So much so that she did her ever-loving best to break up our marriage multiple times. Now, to be perfectly fair to Valerie, I did find out later that Silas was emotionally using and abusing her and telling her lies and stories about me for many, many years, so that she would feel sorry for him and hate me even more. Therefore, Valerie's animosity for me grew and grew. She started to deliberately try and break up my marriage, told me that it was a good thing I didn't have any children because I couldn't handle being a mother. This was a year after I had delivered my stillborn and had several miscarriages, and subscribed me to a year of baby magazines after having suffered yet another miscarriage. I donated the subscription to the labor and delivery department of the local hospital, and a couple of years later was holding my firstborn son. So we learned to move forward. I had called the magazine subscription and asked them why they were sending me the magazine, and found out about the subscription that way. Anyway, that's just a short list of things that had happened. Well, after I finally had our second son, my ex decided the abuse wasn't nearly enough and jumped off the deep end of the mentally stable cliff. He had been pushing for things for years that I was so not comfortable with, i.e., open marriages, additional significant others, etc. But things turned to a far more my way or the heavenly highway, strong undertone, if you get my drift. I left and sent my boys to live with my parents, while this legal mess that was left in the wake of the proverbial explosion was cleaned up. So, while I was rediscovering who this amazing person that is me truly is and what she is capable of doing, let me tell you, as Auntie Mame says, life is a banquet, and most poor fools are starving to death. And damn if she ain't right. If you don't know Auntie Mame, watch the Rosalind Russell version of the movie and thank me later. Silas immediately contacted Valerie, and lo and behold, Look who moved in before the divorce was even initiated. So, Silas had bought me all these outfits he wanted me to wear for other guys, and toys he wanted to use at certain upside-down pineapple parties, if you get my drift. Well, I finally moved out, got my own place, for the first time, mind you, and was thriving like the queen bee god created me to be. I got wind she had moved in with him, and I'm like, whatever. I mean, dogs return to their vomit all the time. But then I got to purging my things. See, I sent my babies to live with my parents halfway across the country, and it just made more sense for me to uproot myself and move back to all of that, rather than tear those boys away from that security they built. So I purged. Then, in the purging, I got to those outfits, the lingerie, and the sex toys, and it got me thinking. I still had a box of his crap that needed to be sent to him. So I cleaned and washed all of that. All of it. Then I folded the lingerie and outfits and packaged all the toys nicely and put them all in a Victoria's Secret bag and put Valerie's name on said bag and put it in the box full of his crap. Then I had my pastor and elder deliver the box to his doorstep. I mean, I figured if she wanted my sloppy seconds so bad, then she could have all the accessories as well. With my blessing. Just a bit of a side note. She has since left him because he is such an abusive douchewad. But she did try to reach out to me to try and figure out what went wrong with him. I'm sorry, but Noon can pay me enough to psychoanalyze my ex. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed. Story number 3. OP's revenge on cheating wife. OP's revenge on cheating wife was so pro that they have to post multiple times because the mods kept deleting it. Repost now with bonus updates. Schnosh, that happened to a cool story, bro, and then everybody clapped. Revenge fantasy, exposing my cheating wife's affair at her 50th. Hey Reddit, I need to get something off my chest. I found out that my wife, let's call her Lisa, had been having an affair. In a whirlwind of emotions, I made a decision that forever changed the course of our lives. It all began when I stumbled upon some incriminating evidence on Lisa's phone. Text messages, explicit photos, and videos exchanged between her and another man. It was like a punch to the gut. The foundation of trust we had built over the years came crashing down in an instant. Anger, hurt, and betrayal flooded my heart. I couldn't let this go unnoticed. I wanted Lisa to understand the pain she had caused me and our family. And what better occasion than her 50th birthday party, a gathering of our closest friends and family. It might sound extreme, but I was fueled by a mix of anger and desperation. In the days leading up to the party, I meticulously crafted a PowerPoint presentation that would expose Lisa's affair. But as I worked on it, I had a change of heart. Instead of focusing solely on the incriminating evidence, I decided to showcase the beautiful moments we had shared over the years. During the party, I stood up and began my speech. I shared stories of how Lisa and I met, our wedding day, the birth of our daughter, and the countless happy memories we had created together. I wanted everyone to remember the love we once had. However, just as the atmosphere filled with warmth and nostalgia, I switched to the PowerPoint presentation. The screen changed, revealing the conversations between Lisa and her affair partner. Shock and disbelief washed over the faces of our guests as they saw the truth unfold before them. But the surprises didn't end there. I had taken a bold step and replaced Lisa's original birthday cake with one that displayed explicit images of her and her lover. As the cake was brought out, I encouraged everyone to sing happy birthday to Lisa, who was now visibly distraught. It was a jarring moment that no one expected. To add the final blow, I handed Lisa divorce papers in front of everyone. The room fell silent, and tears streamed down her face. It was a devastating moment for her. In the aftermath, Lisa's family, including her parents, condemned my actions, claiming I had gone too far and publicly humiliated her. They thought it was unnecessary and cruel. However, to my relief, my own family, including our daughter, stood by me. They understood the pain I had endured and believed that my actions were justified. Reflecting on it now, I can't help but wonder if there was a better way to handle the situation. Perhaps seeking counseling or discussing our issues privately would have been more appropriate. But in the heat of the moment, I felt compelled to expose the truth in such a dramatic fashion. Reddit, I share this story not to encourage others to follow in my footsteps, but rather as a cautionary tale. Infidelity can be devastating, and the emotions it stirs can lead us down unexpected paths. Seek support, communicate openly, and consider all the consequences before making decisions that could impact your life and those around you. First and foremost, I want to clarify some details that were left out in my original post. My ex-wife. Lisa didn't contest the divorce. She acknowledged her affair and, surprisingly, cited my demanding work schedule as the reason she sought comfort elsewhere. According to her, the affair partner made her feel young and desired again, filling a void that she believed I couldn't. My daughter, who suspected something was amiss, had been misled by Lisa. She manipulated the situation, feeding her misinformation to maintain their secret. It breaks my heart to think that my daughter had to endure the confusion and emotional turmoil caused by their actions. Speaking of the affair partner, it turns out he used to work for me before the pandemic hit, and I had to let him go due to financial constraints. Little did I know that he would find his way back into our lives, this time as the catalyst for the destruction of my marriage. Following the incident at the birthday party, my former in-laws threatened legal action against me, believing I had gone too far in exposing Lisa's infidelity. However, Lisa managed to talk them out of it, admitting that she deserved the consequences of her actions. It's a relief to know that at least she took responsibility for the pain she caused. Since the divorce, Lisa has expressed deep regret for her affair. She claims to have realized the gravity of her actions and the toll it took on our family. While I appreciate her remorse, it doesn't change the fact that the trust we once shared has been irreparably shattered. On a personal note, I've been embracing single life and rediscovering myself outside of the confines of a failing marriage. It hasn't been easy, and I won't deny that I've battled with dark thoughts. But the love I have for my daughter is my anchor, the reason I stay strong and keep moving forward. I could never put her through the pain of losing a parent to suicide. To those who question the authenticity of my story, claiming it's fake or exaggerated, I have a simple message. Kiss my ass. This is my life, my pain, and my journey. I shared it with the intention of finding support and connecting with others who may have faced similar struggles. If you choose not to believe it,